have intense hypocrisy in the system. And the worst part of it is that the worst hypocrisy is never even highlighted. People beat around the bush because they don't want to be given a hard time by the rich. You see liberals talking about the top 1%, but they leave psychiatry and big pharma alone. They tell people be a man, man up and take care of your responsibilities. And they want to talk about being productive, right? Unless you consider a snake oil salesman or a drug dealer productive, how is any mental health worker productive? None of them know what the fuck they're talking about. In over 20 years of studying psychiatry, I've yet to find a single person that knows what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to psychiatry and human nature and behavior. But more so when you look at the phrase man up. The system is full of people who make money, but they're not men, they're bootlickers. All their wives and daughters and sisters and mothers, when they hear my story and they see me, they lose respect for the male members of their family. They're just bootlickers who weren't man enough to do the right thing and go against the grain. There are degrees of manning up, and a man who's reached a higher degree of manning up makes men who are in lower degrees seem like pansy-ass, candy-ass pussies. For this reason, all the females, they know that they're with some fucking geek-ass pussy that went along to get along. Some pig pussy, some mental health pussy, some controlled pussy from this sector or that. Because the first level, is being a sniveling coward, right? You're too much of a pussy to do anything other than to be a whiny coward. And then there's the people who man up a little bit, just a little bit. They go to work and they go along to get along. Then there's the people, who discuss the problems of the world, societal ills, what have you. And as you keep going higher, you reach someone like me, the highest level of manning up, being uncontrolled opposition, not part of some group, but uncontrolled opposition. The top martial artist. It doesn't get more manly than that. So when all these females, all these gang-stalking females, even feminists who don't like me, they know that they're just a fucking bitter bitch compared to the biggest man in America. The most manly man, rather. Man the fuck up. Quit being a bootlicking coward. Man up. Quit trying to get people to compromise. I'll never compromise. I don't make deals with these ninnies. So help me God, I consider making deals with gang stalkers 1,000 times worse than making deals with cops who aren't gang stalkers. 1,000 times worse. It will never happen. Gang stalkers are basically pigs. Informants and pigs. There's nothing else. When you look at the system, right, it is designed to put snitches in charge. There's been such an emphasis on this, as they try to increase their understanding. Remember, keep in mind, psychologists don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But as they try to increase their understanding of human nature, human interactions, and sociology, they're a little bit more successful at putting snitches in positions of power. Who do you think is going to win this kind of generational war? Generations of gang members who don't really learn too much from their mistakes? Or generations of scientists who have been trying to figure out how to more effectively put snitches in power and to more effectively put gang members and mental health and cops under their control? Everything that's going on is exactly what you would expect. Big Payback was exposing it. Now he's dead. Tupac made songs about fake ass bitches and snitches. He's dead. So on. Fact of the matter is, an X-Rated made a song, nowadays snitches run the penitentiary, and he's locked up, for a long time. Fact is that snitches run the criminal underworld, and they run society in general. And the biggest snitches are people in secret societies. And just because you have a code of silence within your secret society doesn't mean it's okay to share information with law enforcement just because they're within your secret society. I mean, people have the game so fucking twisted. It doesn't matter how big of a criminal you are. If you're a consistent snitch, it doesn't matter if you fucking blew up the White House. If you robbed the military of a fucking whole train full of firearms. You're collaborating with snitches. You're a secret society snitch or an informant snitch. It doesn't matter how many bitches, how much money. None of that matters. You're a snitch, and you're not telling the teacher neither. You're telling members of the government who will share the information all the way through the different levels of the government. Consistent snitching. When the government come to you at any point and say, I want this information, and you give it up, that is the worst kind of snitching. It's being an informant, a collaborator. Sinika Shakur brought this up in his interview with that one black Israelite guy, I believe he is. These are the worst snitches, the gang stalkers. And so when you look at the levels of manning up, being a bootlicker who isn't a gang stalker is more of a man than a gang stalker who is a bootlicker. Or a gang stalker anyway, because being a snitch is like being a coward, right? It's like being emasculated and under the protection. There's a thin line between protective custody in the institution and being protected by law enforcement and secret societies in society. It's basically the same thing. You're giving them information, they're protecting you, you're a pussy. You're a fucking coward. You're a bitch! Mental health has wasted billions of dollars and tons of resources and space and what have you. And I seem to be the only person who understands human behavior. So let me explain it to you people. The careful observers already know that I'm right about what I'm about to talk about. But I know about these things on a much deeper level than pretty much any man. The only thing that I am guilty of is being a brave, good man in a world of evil, conformist cowards. I say it again so you understand and you remember. The only thing that I am guilty of is being a brave, good man in a world of conformist, evil cowards. Now let's think about this, shall we? In my last video, I pointed out that over 90% of people abuse one substance or another. And yes, if you're a cigarette smoker, you're abusing cigarettes because these things kill people, cause emphysema and lung cancer and heart disease and all kinds of problems. So just smoking cigarettes is abusing it. Almost everyone who drinks abuses alcohol. Okay? Or they at least turn to alcohol when they're stressed out. I see even moderate drinkers, they drink a little extra when they're stressed out and they drink hard liquor. And same with marijuana. Regardless of what they're talking about, medical condition, and they all know that it's a mood enhancer, right? It's also depressant in the long term, but it enhances your mood temporarily. So all these people are abusing these things. We see men get stressed out and rape bitches. Granted, most bitches don't exactly deserve good things to have happen to them, but nevertheless, that is a form of giving in to stress. Whether it's simply just the stress of not getting any pussy. There's guys who beat their wives and all these things, and I touched on all these things. Okay? So a lot of these cops don't understand these ideas. There's a lot of bitches keeping their mouth shut when their man beats them up. A lot more than you might think. Whether they're right or wrong, who knows? But one thing's for sure. It reflects how society behaves when they're stressed out and what they choose to take it out on. Now, you got to keep in mind that the things that stress me out are far more stressful to a good person than a bad person. There's the element of being good. It's part of what makes me a very good person, is my moral outrage. You know, I'm not mad at the thought that a bitch is cheating on me, which is a pretty good reason to be mad, but nowhere near as good of a reason as I have. I've done a ton of research to help me truly grasp the fine details, the specifics and the intricacies of what is going on. So I have a much greater understanding of what is going on than even the criminals who are doing it. And this makes me very angry. But I don't turn to substance abuse or domestic violence. I don't yell at my coworkers or my employees. So I am stressed out for a better reason than pretty much anyone. And I don't abuse substances as a result. And it's because I am such a good person that I am stressed out by these things. While more often than not, you hear people saying, well, the world's a bad place. There's nothing you can do. Don't worry about it. This kind of bitch shit that lesser minds and less righteous people believe, say, or think. So to then look at my behavior and say, hey, this guy, we need to prioritize. We need to single him out for his behavior. Now, I thoroughly established that by now, almost every mental health worker involved in, I call them worker, not experts, because there is no experts. There are no experts. I'm the closest thing to an expert, and I don't have a degree in this stuff. Anyway, every one of these workers that's involved in my case or has been involved, by now knows that they're full of shit and that I'm being set up, you know, by cowardly intelligence agencies and cowardly secret societies and, you know, where their membership overlaps especially. They all know that. But nevertheless, there are dumbasses in society that do not quite get it. And why? Because they hold on to those social norms. You know? How many dumb bitches say, I want a guy who's normal? You know? How many dumb bitches say, well, that's not normal. Why? Because they're holding on to those social norms. And all these sniveling dogs who set the social norms, who created loopholes for themselves to take advantage of, who set them in a way that so they can control people, especially control their minds, they're laughing at these idiots. Like, oh, these people are so stupid, they're sheep. You know, we set what is socially normative and they just follow the fucking leader. They just follow the pack. They emulate soap operas and bitch shit like that. And then they turn around and tell people who are way more perceptive than they are, that's not normal. It's fucking pathetic. Oh, it's fucking pathetic. And that's why it's so disgusting when cops or shrinks or anyone else, you know, politicians, people in the media, anyone tries to reinforce these social norms. It's despicable. It was normal to drink poison and fuck each other in the ass. People would do it. Wait, they're pretty much already doing that, especially in Northern California, in the San Francisco area, right? They're drinking all this drug nonsense and, you know, this, you know, alcohol poisoning, and they're having gay sex. So I gotta find a different example. Anyway, yeah. So you really got to see it for what it is. I mean, completely cowards. I mean, the people who would say contrary either are stupid and selfish, or they're too fucking evil to see the truth. Or, of course, all of the above, which is probably most likely the case. And when you really look at it right, they're all stupid. They've all bet. You know, it's like, you know, I'll give you an example. If you were to say, you know what, I bet my family that I'm going to roll snake eyes, people would say, you're fucking crazy. You're taking a chance like that you don't need to take. And that's what they're doing with their souls. They're saying, I bet my soul, this is what they're saying, they bet their souls, that there is no God, there is no afterlife, and if there is, they'll be able to reason with God and magically, you know, everything will work out. So everyone doing this automatically is a stupid, stupid fuck who's a million times more stupid than the guy who would roll the dice and bet his family's lives. Because, you know, life is short. Eternity is long. So these people are complete fucking morons. Just completely retarded. Absolutely brain dead, dumb fucks. They might be talented at computers or engineering, but really they're dumbasses. They're these little sniveling, selfish, little wimpy, effeminate, emasculated, feminine ass, namby-pamby fucking pussies. They're these My Little Pony type bitches. They're fucking weak and stupid. I mean, how is that characteristics of a man? Being weak and fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. That's why the feminine complements the man, right? Man is strong, women is weak. And it complements because they're both strong. They would argue all the time over who's in charge. And that's how it's supposed to be. That's why these feminists are too fucking dumb. You know? These two pieces fit together. That's why the dick goes in the hole, bitch. Think about it. It fits together because it's like pieces of a puzzle. When you have two pieces that are the same, it doesn't fucking work out. And lesbians know that. And that's why they're feminists, trying to make women like men so they don't get along with men, so they turn into lesbian dumb bitches. It's absolutely deplorable. A society of wimpy pussies that go along to get along. And no matter what excuse they have, it's stupid. It's like the guy that rolls the dice and bets his family on the dice game, right? He'd say, well, I don't like them that much anyway. In some cultures, families aren't important. I mean, no matter what they say, they're still a dumb motherfucker. And that's the kind of bitch shit that I'm talking about. So the eugenicists are focusing on making people, like I always say, as much like them as they can. These are the people, no matter how you slice it, who have said, people like us and our genes are superior. We need to sabotage everyone who isn't like us. And people join secret societies to emulate what some people consider a fictional character in the Bible. But really, the devil, who is more similar to the people in charge than God, so they made a secret society say, hey, emulate this figure, which is going to be basically emulating the characteristics that we have more than everyone else, right? We're the most evil fucks around. They're wimpy, effeminate, dual gender, kind of gender feminist, gay, fucking bisexual garbage, pedophiles, thieves, murderers, rapists, etc. They're like, emulate these characteristics that are manifested by this character in this book. So you can be like us. And as you progress to being like us, we'll sabotage everyone else. Because this is how society should be. You know, the most hated person by the eugenicists is someone like me. And they'll go way out of their way for people not to see the hypocrisy. Because even though they're emulating all these evil things about the devil, right? There's something called intellect that complicates their argument. Because most people are smart enough to know that great martial artists, especially the top in American history, are very wise people. They're more wise than pretty much everyone else. They have a certain deep understanding of life. They've forged their mind and their body and their souls. And they're much beyond rocket scientists and all these kind of educated professors and ninnies. They're far beyond that. They have a way deeper, way more profound understanding, way more profound wisdom in their being than all these other people put together pretty much. So that really makes it hard for them. So they really put a great emphasis on controlling martial artists. Great emphasis. These Confucius-like motherfuckers who focus on warfare and philosophy and spirituality and everything else that's important in life. And they do it better than everyone else. So they say, look, we got to pretend that we're those guys. And that means they got to scream me out more, because not only am I the type of person they don't like, a manly heterosexual man that defies them, but one of the most important characteristics that they highlight for their system, intellect, I display it on a much higher level than they do. These non-productive, golf-playing, ninnies and their controlled bitches in Ivy League schools. Together, they are fleas compared to me. Mental fucking midgets. Mentally weak, conformist, materialistic, mental midgets. And I'm the top martial artist in American history, and I am being persecuted by people with inferior genes, with inferior philosophies, inferior minds, so they can maintain their despicable falsehoods in the minds of the most impressionable, conformist, follow the leader, My Little Pony, magic card, esoteric Ebert, goat riding type bitches. Thank you.